You've got little duck-sized horses running around, and you've got to fight them. What do you do? Punt them like footballs? What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, just 100 times, and you know,
because they're attacking you.
But maybe they're nice horses. You know, is there some food around that you can feed them? You know,
you're such a city manager. Look at you looking for solutions here. I like it. Welcome to CelinaRadio.com. Recorded right here in Celina, Texas, a quiet little dusty, sleepy town that has absolutely nothing going on. Of course I'm kidding, because Celina, Texas has everything going on. And when I say everything, I mean a little bit of everything. Of course, the majority of it is amazing. And today we've got a fantastic guest, somebody who I believe has really contributed to making this city amazing. And that's Jason Laumer, the current city manager for the city of Celina, somebody who has brought a vision, the ability to hire staff, and a mindset to Celina that we haven't had in the past, that has set us on the track to go wonderful and amazing places in the future. So I got to sit down with Jason and really kind of understand an awful lot about what he does, his philosophies, his past, and we even had a little bit of fun along the way. Now, I didn't push any issues too far as the fun stuff, because Jason has told me for weeks and weeks that he's not going to play any games or do anything like that. So we didn't do anything crazy. I may have pushed it just a little bit with some questions. Just sit back and see what you think about it. I, for one, am a huge fan of Jason Laumer and his vision and accomplishments in the city of Celina. I think you are going to agree. And by the way, definitely listen all the way to the end. I've got an amazing song that I'm going to play in its entirety for you. Something I think you're going to like. But just before that, I've got a little message that you're going to want to hear. For right now, let's get into our interview with Jason Laumer. Guys, I am here right now with Jason Laumer. You know Jason Laumer because he's the city manager of Celina, Texas. Jason, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great, Ron. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. It's cold outside right now, so thank you for... We're in the Blue House right off the square, and the heat is not turned on. So we've got this little heater going over here. So what do you think about it? Are you loving or hating the change in the weather?
I think it feels good. I like the change. I just wish it would be more gradual. But, this is Texas. Tomorrow it will probably be 80 degrees. And today it's cold and rainy. And, there's something about Texas weather where when it gets rainy like this, it feels colder than what the temperature reads.
Right.
And I'm always amazed by that because, you go up north, it's cold. But sometimes I think, 50 degrees in Texas feels colder than 35
Absolutely.
Up north.
Absolutely. And it's true. Today, we're all wearing jackets and we're all wrapped up and bundled up. Tomorrow, we literally could be in cargo shorts and flip-flops. That is Texas for you. But man, thank you for being here. There's so much amazing stuff going on in Celina, and we're going to cover a lot of different things. But one of the things that just kind of foremost on my mind right now is we've got the Christmas event coming up on the square. So tell me a little bit about that. Do you just love that event?
Oh, Christmas on the Square is amazing. I mean, so many people tell me it's almost like a Hallmark movie, that it gets that same feeling of a family and community and being in a really special place. The square is just amazing. It's going to be decorated. We're going to have the tree lighting. Santa's going to help light the tree. We'll have choirs there singing also. And it's just, and of course, vendors and Christmas vendors that you can buy stuff, hot chocolate. It's just a really amazing event. And I really welcome everybody to come and really enjoy it.
So, and I've been to them in the past, and it is exactly what you're saying. It's just like a Hallmark movie. It's awesome. And if it's a little chilly outside, to me, that's a little better because it kind of makes it seem more Christmassy. But that really draws a lot of people here. So do you have an idea of like how many people can we expect to come to Celina for something like that?
We typically have several thousand. It seems to grow every year as more people move to the city and want to come out to the events and experience them themselves. Last year we had a huge surprise because the character Forney from Yellowstone was there, which was a complete surprise. He knew Punk Carter. I think you might have talked to him about him on the show before, and he brought Forney, and he helped light the tree also.
It's very, very cool. And I remember that. It was a big, huge thing. There was a lot of people that were very, very excited about that. But you know what? One of the things that really makes Celina unique in my mind is the downtown. So, we've got all this growth coming. And anytime you've got a city like this, and I experienced this back in the day with Frisco, back in the late 90s, it's a tough deal. It's a hard deal because the very thing that attracts all of us to Celina, right, is that small town feel. But by the very nature of the fact that it's drawing all of us to Celina, that means we're growing. So how do you feel about all the growth?
Well, I think my job, and this is really the direction from council, who are my bosses, is that we want to manage the growth. We want it to work for us. We want to figure out ways to, as we grow, to still maintain that small town charms and feel. And I think the downtown is one of the key aspects of that, because we can continue to have events downtown where you get to know your neighbors, you meet people, it just feels like community.
So one of the connections in what I love, the vision that I've invested in this city and that so many people have, is that we do have an anchor to our heritage and to our past, which is this downtown square. We're literally sitting 1 minute off the square right now. And it's amazing. And I'm not going to say anything negative about our cities to the south, but we've got an amazing square. And we may be a little more blessed in having a better square than, you have to go pretty far down there before you get to something like this. This is pretty amazing, isn't it?
No, it's really been amazing for over 100 years. I mean, if you look at some of the original founders that helped create the square, we're very unique. We're one of the few downtowns that have a square that doesn't have a courthouse. And that square has always been a gathering spot. We have an employee that's, grew up here, and she would tell me stories about how as a teenager, this is before, cell phones and Facebook, and, how they met up with their friends was like everybody just hung out at the square. And then they would, catch up and visit each other. But it was always like, hey, I'll meet you on the square.
And now, obviously, technology is taking over. So now you can do all these things. So I know there's a new app. It's like a life connected app. Help me understand.
Yeah. So we really, we work every day to try to figure out ways to help our residents out. And so one of the ideas we had a few years ago was to, if you go to the app store, you can type in Celina Life Connected, and the app should pop up. We're continue to grow it, but we want it to be a place where you can see the events going on. You can report an issue. So a lot of times, people might have an issue with a stop sign being down or a pothole, and you can go on the app and report the issue, and it drops right into our work order system, and it has to be tracked. And so it's really great because right now when someone reports a pothole, we're about 1 week out from filling that pothole with our amazing streets department, and we've really come a long way. Really since Winter Storm Uri happened, and tore up a lot of our roads with the freezing for 7 days. But I think we've come a long way in trying to repair that, and the app's part of that process.
So it's not so we have such a unique blend of everything going on here in Celina. We've got this amazing downtown square that has all these events that people just love and come out for. Like you said, Hallmark movie. That's the literal best way to describe it. If I'm telling my family and friends, hey, come to Celina and check this out, they're like, well, what is it? A lot of cities put on different things. Nobody does anything quite as amazing as Celina does. There's just a feel. There's just it's a whole experience. And I love Celina. So it's very, very easy for me to say that. But when people come here, they experience that as well. But we're not just stuck in the past. I mean, you've got an app right now, a Life Connected app, where people can literally have some sort of an issue and report it virtually in real time, and it gets integrated into the system. Like you said, it gets a work order or whatever, and it's repaired quickly, and there's a tracking part to it. So that's a very unique blend we've got an anchor to our past. We're in a unique location right here on Preston Road in the tollway. We've got a lot of talent, I'm assuming, in order to make things like this happen. Is that important to you as the city manager to have a lot of talented people here?
Oh, it really takes a team, so we really focus on having great team members, taking advantage of their strengths. Our GIS director, Ogie, is the one that really works on the app. This year, we're going to have, we have the Fire Santa around town. So, Santa will be on a fire truck driving through the neighborhoods. And the app's actually going to show you almost real time where Santa's at. So if you want to stay in the house if it's cold and wait till Santa's close and bring your kids out and say hi to Santa, it's really an amazing thing that I think our fire department does for our residents.
Let me just be sure I understand this. So on that app, is it on that app that's going to happen?
Yes.
Okay, so on that Life Connected app, people will be able to track Santa Claus on a fire truck as he drives through the streets of Celina, Texas. He's not driving the truck, I assume.
No, he's not driving the truck. He's on top of the truck.
Okay, he's on top of the truck. And it's kind of like the ice cream trucks coming, except for you see it on your app. And then you get to run out in your front yard with your kids, and Santa comes by on a fire truck.
Yeah, it's really amazing. I mean, I remember my kids when they were young, and being able to see Santa is just so special to them. And we love providing those memories for our residents. It's something, I think they'll cherish even as they grow older.
So that's what I'm talking about. That's part of what I love about this city is the fact that people like you and the staff and the city council, everybody takes that sort of thing into account and tries to make this city even more amazing. Like I'm happy with it right now, but things like that just make it even better and better and better. We just had the Troubadour Festival out here. There's always different events, and I just see things improving and improving and improving. But let's kind of shift gears just a little bit. Let's talk about you. So how long have you been in Celina?
I've been in Celina since 2017. I was hired as a city manager in August of 2017, so I've been here a little bit over 5 years.
Okay, and what'd you do before that?
I graduated from Texas A&M. I'm what I like to say an engineer by trade, a civil engineer by trade. So I know infrastructure very well, which comes in handy in a high-growth city that has a lot of infrastructure challenges. But I'm really a planner by heart, and so I love helping cities, manage growth and really make things better for residents. And when I say that, I mean, you watch people use a park and you can see how the kids use it and how the moms use it, and then you can improve from there. But it's neat to create these areas where you create experiences for people, our residents. And so when they come downtown, you see kids playing on the square. Sometimes you'll see people pick up dinner and eat at a picnic table on the square and kind of watch everybody. We call it seen and be seen, kind of experience, and people just really love that.
Right, and it's super, super cool. One of the things that let me just go back in time a little bit. When I first got here, I came up out of Dallas, and my first night in a police car here was right there in front of Papagayo's pulling onto the square. Okay, that was still two-way right there at the time, and there was a pickup truck with some high school boys in it. Some were in the cab of the truck. There was, I think, 3 in the bed of the truck. And then there were a few guys on the ground running through the square. Blue jeans, no shirts, cowboy boots on. They had a rope and a lasso, and they were trying to lasso each other through the square of Celina, Texas from an old pickup truck. And it was, I was like, what in the world is this place? Like, I'm used to seeing homeless people, and I'm used to seeing different things that are kind of unique to Dallas, but I've never seen people try to rope each other out of a pickup truck before. And let me tell you, oddly, from that moment on, I literally have loved this city. It's so unique. It just grabbed me, and I can't even explain why. But what is it about? Why do you love Celina?
Oh, I mean, Celina is just special, like I was saying earlier. I mean, you just feel it. I mean, the people, the community, they're always willing to help each other out. You see people post on Facebook that I need some help here, and people respond. The residents are just, very positive. We call it, faith, family, and football. It's kind of
family, and football.
I think people, really understand that. I think it's why it's been attractive for people who want to move here. They want to raise their children here. They want the history and tradition that both the city and the Celina School District offers.
Right, and this is very much a Friday Night Lights kind of town. Football is it's just a big part of who we are. It always has been. I go all the way back to G.A. Moore and all the championships back in those days. And now, once again, here we are, just an amazing football team. And you know what's super, super cool to me is sitting down with the football coach and hearing that the values that they instill in the boys that are playing football and how critical that is to them. I'm just blown away by it. So almost everywhere you turn in Celina, it's like we're all just a part of this really great, awesome experience. And I'm not saying that we don't have our growing pains and that we're, perfect. We're not. But by and large, what an amazing city. So that's got to be amazing for you, sitting in the position you're in, getting to see all of this growth and kind of having the inside track on everything. So is that not just like a complete blessing and amazing thing for you?
Oh, it is. I mean, Celina is a blessed place. I'm blessed to be able to work here. I think, it's what attracts a lot of our employees. They feel the same way about, helping our residents, helping the city accomplish its goals. And that's really, at the end of the day, we want, high engagement with our residents. We want them to feel involved. We want them to feel special. And it's just, it's just amazing. So, we recently expanded, Old Celina Park. And just, you watch the kids play on the fields, enjoy it. And, they didn't have the opportunity before we expanded it. We're working on bringing a huge playground to Old Celina Park. And I can't wait for moms to be able to take their kids out to that playground and enjoy those moments and memories with their kids.
And there's a large plan. I've personally invested in lots of properties around downtown, and so I'm a big fan of the plans that this city has for the future. And that means being able to make it a destination. You can park, you can do this. There's so much thought into all of that. So do you feel like the staff here is just really top notch? Because that stuff doesn't just happen by accident. That stuff is by design. That means that there's talented people making critical decisions and good things are happening because of it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I think, we want to be the best planned city. And whether that's, downtown's a perfect example. So, we did a downtown master plan in 2019. We had a lot of residents' input and what they wanted the downtown to be. And then, we use that plan. So we don't just finish the plan and put it up on the shelf and go mission accomplished. We use that plan to make budget decisions, to buy property. We worked with the school district to transfer the Bobcat Field into the city so we can incorporate it into a new linear park downtown. It's going to be called Owsley Park to respect the Owsley family that's been here for forever, several generations. They originally donated the land to the school district to have the football field. And now they're going to let the city take it over and really turn it into a park that will really enhance the downtown. We have bought land for future parking garages because we hear from our residents that they want more parking downtown. And so we're planning that. We're in the middle of, about to start design on our first parking garage right behind City Hall.
So give me an idea. We've talked so much about city stuff, and we're just in complete agreement that the city of Celina is amazing, and it's taken a lot to get here. There's a lot of talent. There's a lot of people. Obviously, you're a part of that talent, and I, for one, can literally sit here and say thank you for everything that you do, everything that you have done. I don't think we'd be where we are right now had you not been in this position. So thank you for that, and I speak for many people out here who feel the same way as I do. But give me an idea. I want to know what does Jason do when Jason comes to the square? Okay, let's just say when you come to the square, what do you like to do? Where do you like to eat? And where do you like to go? What do you like to do?
Ron, I like all the places. You can't make me pick a favorite. That's like trying to pick your favorite child.
I agree. Very, very, very good, safe answer. let's just pick a place because everybody loves to hear other people's recommendations, and I'm in full agreement. There's not one place down here that I don't like. Yeah. I love them all. But if somebody said, well, pick a place and tell me what you like from there, I would say I like to go to Lucy's, and I love their chicken fried steak, or I love their punk cutter meatloaf, or whatever. But I could do that for all the places. There's rarely a weekend that you don't see me at Papagayo's.
Yeah, I think I usually ask people what you in the mood for,
right?
And then try to fit the restaurant to what they're in the mood for.
So let's just say that I'm in the mood for something from, let's just say, toasted walnut. Do you go to Toasted Walnut?
Yeah, I love Joey and Toasted Walnut. So the first time I had his burger, the Wagyu burger,
yep,
I was like, it just like melted in my mouth. I was like, this is the most amazing burger I've ever had. I mean, it's just, I mean,
epic.
It was epic. I mean, it's just, and then he has several great items, but it's really hard not to get the burger when I go there.
And speaking about Celina and how, like I said, everybody's kind of, we're all in like this same family, so to speak. Like we're all pulled together here in this. And Joey Dawkins, he's been on the show. He has a passion for what he's doing there. He loves being a part of this community. He loves the direction that everything's been going. He loves everything about this, just like I do. And, he goes above and beyond in his own little way. He knows that when you go to Toasted Walnut Square, you would really like for the chef to bring your food to the table. That's a little personal touch that he chooses to do. Now, he can't serve everyone, he's not there 24/7. But how many times have you gone there and Joey literally brings your food? And it doesn't matter if you're the city manager or, a real estate guy like me or anything else. That's amazing. And that's the kind of stuff that goes on in Celina, Texas.
Joey, we have a lot of amazing people. Joey is one of them that makes Celina different, makes it unique. He really cares about his business and the square and downtown and Celina. I mean, so, it's really people like Joey, that contribute, in groups to make us unique and different and awesome.
Right on.
And I can't say enough about those type of business owners.
If you're going into Lucy's now, give me an idea. What is Jason going to order at Lucy's?
I have two things I always order, and the waitress is always like, which one are you going to get today? And it's usually either the Lucy's chicken salad. Okay. It's just a simple salad with either grilled chicken or fried chicken. Right. Sometimes I get it with buffalo chicken. Okay. Which is really good. Right. And then the other times I'll just get a burger and a salad. Nice. Very, very nice. And I've seen Lucy's back in the day was called Bill E. Bob's Cantina, and it's grown, and I'm very happy that it's done what's done. They have things like they have karaoke night, they have trivia and stuff. Do you ever go for any of that stuff? Are you like one of those guys that can get up there and sing karaoke or do the trivia stuff? I like listening to karaoke, but you really don't want to hear me sing. I think it'd be like, hey, is this guy gonna finish? Can we go ahead and just move on to the next guy? On trivia, I've done trivia, and I've also done trivia at Little and Penguin. Right. And I always feel like I'm pretty smart until I don't know any of the trivia questions, and then I'm like, man, I don't know these questions. Right. Right. It's exactly me too. I literally sit at the table with my wife and my little girl. And whatever the topic is, Dad will know this. Dad knows this. And then the pressure's on. And I'm like, Dad doesn't know this. I hate to say it. I don't know everything. So, yeah, but it's awesome. And speaking of the Little Wooden Penguin, don't you love the fact that we have places like that coming to Celina right now? I still remember the first time I talked to Katie and Taylor, the owners of Little and Penguin. And, speaking of amazing people, I mean, they've really invested in the city. They're behind some of the designs of many of the businesses in Celina, in the downtown, and they've really invested. And the first time I met them, they're like, we want to do a coffee, beer, wine, while we make furniture. And for a lot of cities, they're like, no, you can't do that. And we're like, man, that sounds awesome. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I like it. I love that. We can do it, and we're going to all work together to get it done kind of mentality. It's huge because, and again, not to disparage any cities to the south, but I was very involved in Frisco back in the day, and it wasn't quite as easy to get things accomplished there. And I'm talking about, I'm not talking about today, different leadership, different everything now. But it was a different world back then, and it was commonly known that it was you literally almost couldn't do it. And so I love the fact that this city, you, the staff, the city council, that you embrace people like me, small businesses. And let me tell you, it's huge. We love that. So it's amazing. I can't thank you enough for that and say how much we appreciate that. And it makes a world of difference having experienced a different version of growth before. And then now this, it's huge. So it's that time of year again.
That's right, Christmas is upon us. And what a fantastic place to celebrate Christmas. Celina, Texas is truly an amazing place to experience the holidays. I'm not talking about Christmas on the Square. That's incredible by itself. I'm talking about the people who live here. Your neighbors, your friends, your community. And there's so many different ways to help celebrate Christmas. And the Christmas on the Square happens on Wednesday, November 30th from 5 until 9 p.m. And it's just amazing. It really is. There's all kinds of different things that they do. They have, of course, Santa Claus. What would any Christmas event be without Santa? They've got a kids zone. They even have live reindeer. There's going to be local performances. There's going to be crafts. And there's going to be food and vendors. And maybe a few other surprises as well. Now, on December the 7th at 6 p.m. in front of Celina City Hall, none other than Santa Claus himself and a few good Marines and our amazing Celina Rotary Club will be hosting a toy drop event. And last year it was incredible. It was the best experience ever. We were blessed enough to get to go and buy some toys and pull up and drop them off. And Corbett Howard and so many different people were out there. And they were so grateful and so thankful. And you just got such the spirit of Christmas. It was amazing. So I would encourage you to go check that out. Grab a toy and go drop it off. These guys are incredible. The experience is amazing. And it's part of what makes Celina so incredible. And something else that you might want to get involved in is the Blue Santa program put on by the Celina Police Department. Now, this is essentially a method to actually adopt a needy family and help them meet some of those needs at Christmas time. Now, you can reach out to my friend Chase Guidara at the Celina Police Department to get more information about this, but it's a very worthy cause and a way that you can help give back to the community and make Christmas super special for a Celina family. And of course, there's going to be so many other things going on in and around Celina during the holidays. And if you'll go to celinaradio.com, we'll have a list of all of these things and so many more things where you can participate, have a good time, make a difference in somebody's life. Just be a part of this incredible community that we call Celina, Texas. And remember, the most important part of this holiday is celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, the greatest gift that God has ever given to man. And we celebrate that birth, that incredible gift this Christmas. Find yourself a good local church or reach out to me and learn more about this amazing gift called Jesus Christ. Christmas on the Square and those things, the Friday night, the movie, the market and stuff. Does your family love to come out and participate in all of that stuff?
Oh, yes. We rarely miss an event. I mean, I just love watching the people enjoy it. Our event staff does such an amazing job, that they they just really hit it on the nail on the head and just really create great events and special moments. And, you can feel it when you're there. You walk around on Friday Night Market and, there's several vendors that are repeat vendors that you're like, oh, that product's awesome. We need to pick some up.
But I love doing these events. I love people coming by. I love meeting the people out here. And very, very similar to your situation. It's amazing. The people are what makes the town.
No, I agree. I mean,
so amazing.
I think it was a Friday market before the last one. I picked up some papagayo just like you talked about, took it to go, and ate on a picnic table out on the square. And it was just great to be eating some papagayos out on the square and watching everybody walk by. And, I saw several people I knew and got to say hi to them. And it's just a really nice experience.
Absolutely. And I want to learn a little bit about you. So I know you went to Texas A&M. You worked at Little Elm before you came over here.
I was in the private sector for civil engineering, where I helped a lot of small cities with their engineering needs.
Right.
And that, eventually turned into a job at the town of Little Elm as the city engineer. And eventually grew, like all cities have been growing in Texas, into a bigger role with planning and development and capital projects, and really helping the city grow.
Right. And so being in the position you're in, what does Celina need right now?
Well, I think, when we talk about Celina, being 80 square miles and growing, you think about what are those needs that our residents want for it to be a complete city. And so, one of them that we identified a few years ago was healthcare. And then, we helped recruit Methodist Hospital. Now they own, 48 acres on the tollway in 428, and they're about to start their phase 1. So Celina will soon have a hospital.
Very nice.
And I think other things are, offices, so we can really be a true work, live, play city where residents can be close to their place of work. And then, of course, the other thing, in keeping the theme of the family is, family entertainment. Whether that is, whether it's throwing axes at Throwing Axe, or, I'd love to bring like a full service mini golf place. We've joked about maybe even having the old school family like skating rink. I don't know how that would work, but I remember those memories as a kid, places that you could really be with your kids and your family. And I think we're going to try to encourage those type of local businesses.
I like it. I like it a lot. That would be fantastic, because what you do is we all kind of draw on our own past, things that were, great experiences for us. And we want to share those now. That's why my child sits down with me and watches Charlie Brown Christmas, even though Charlie Brown is probably not her favorite thing, but it's because I have such great memories of sitting down at Christmas and watching that. But I want to ask you some kind of fun questions too. I want to get to know you a little bit better than just, Jason Laumer, the city manager. And one of those questions is, if you could sit down and have coffee with any historical figure, anyone from history. A lot of times I'll let people say just anybody. I'm going to hold you to history. Someone from history. Who would you like to sit down and have a cup of coffee with?
I'm a history buff, so if I have to say the first thing that comes to mind, probably like Theodore Roosevelt. I really like Roosevelt.
Tell me about that.
Well, I just think he had a unique time in history of the country, and one of my favorite quotes is on my wall that he did. Is called "The Man in the Arena." It really talks about it's easy to be a critic, on the outside, but the people that are trying to do something, trying to make something better, are the people that are really in the arena fighting to improve.
Bingo, man! You just nailed that. Absolutely. And so, if you're going to sit down with him, let's just go ahead and say that you're going to go over here to Summer Moon. Okay. And I should ask you this first though. Are you a fan of coffee?
Oh, well, the funny story is, my parents didn't drink coffee, so I didn't drink coffee till about 5 years ago.
Really?
And now I drink coffee all the time. they say it's healthy for you though, so I'm really hopeful.
Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Yeah, I should be very, very healthy then, because I think I have coffee instead of blood running through this body. But so you go to Summer Moon, and you're going in there with Teddy Roosevelt, right? What do you order him? Because remember, he's not seen this before. In his day, coffee was just, something you poured out of a percolator, and that was it.
I'd probably just order him what I order, a quarter moon. and see if he likes it or not.
What would he think about it? Because he was a tough guy. What would he think about that? Would it be too sweet for him? Would it just be
maybe it would have to be less than a quarter. I don't know. I mean, it's he'd probably think it's way too sweet.
Oh man, that's crazy. And what do you think he would think about Celina, Texas today? You think he'd be a fan of everything going on here?
I don't know. That's a good question. I would give him a tour and talk about what we're working on. And, I know he was a big fan of parks and open space. He's one of the ones that helped create the national park system.
Absolutely.
And so I'd probably talk to him about, how we're trying to create trails and, we continue to buy park land to preserve it, to develop in the future for our residents. Because, if you don't buy it now, the land won't be there. And I think he talked a lot about that with the national park system, making sure that some of that land was preserved for open space and for people to enjoy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And tell me this, what was your favorite subject back in high school?
History.
Okay. That makes sense.
Love history. I'm really good at math, but that's what kind of led me to engineering.
I don't think you and I can be friends anymore because I can't know people who are good at math. It just doesn't work for me. I don't understand how your brain works.
I took an extra elective in college because I thought it'd be fun. So that's how much I love math.
You took an extra math class?
I did.
Okay. Yeah. There might be a problem going on. We were good on the coffee. I love the parks. Yes, we're all, and then you just lost me on the math, man. But no, that's awesome. God bless you for being good at math. I literally wish that I could be good at math, but it just, for some reason, that doesn't. You think being in real estate, like I'd be really good at, I'm really good at real estate math. But you give me any kind of math outside of real estate, you might as well just go ahead and go ask my 10-year-old because she's going to know it way better than me.
Well, I often joke with my staff because we'll be working on projects, and I'll quickly, kind of what I call napkin math in my head.
Uh-huh.
And, they'll go and run it through a whole spreadsheet and figure out all the numbers. And my napkin math comes really close to their final number.
Nice. That's
and
awesome.
They're always a little amazed by that.
If I did napkin math in my head, it'd be so far off. They'd be like, what are you doing? Or did you even hear the question? So if you had to say what your favorite movie is or one of your favorite movies, it's hard sometimes to nail it down to just one. Kind of like me. I've got a bunch of favorites, but give me an idea. What's a favorite movie of Jason Laumer?
I would say my favorite movie is Star Wars.
Okay. So all right. We just became brothers again.
It's really not that hard for me. And it's not because it's a, Oscar winning, but I would say that as a child, that probably influenced me more than any movie in my life.
Absolutely.
The story, farm boy, being raised to fight the Galactic Empire and, do good for the Republic. It's just, just a classic hero story.
Yes. And just let me just side note this real quick. I'm still such a Star Wars fan that as of yesterday on the, I think it's the Facebook Marketplace deal, I literally just bought an album from 1977. It's an activity book and record from Star Wars from 1977, and I collect that stuff. I literally still collect it.
I went through some collecting phases. I think a lot of guys do, and Star Wars at one point was a collecting thing of mine, and I can't throw it away. It's all in storage right now. I actually rent the storage to not just for Star Wars, but for some of my Star Wars stuff.
Right.
It's just a lot of memories.
That's so awesome. I love that. And it was epic for that time period. If you grew up back then, that was incredible. So if you were to say do a lottery, and I don't even know if you do lotteries or not, let's just pretend you do lottery stuff and you got $10 million. What would you do with $10 million right now?
Honestly, I'd probably put half in the bank and then figure out what I could use the other $5 million on to help people out.
Wow, I like that.
So it's just you look. I always talk about we're really trying to encourage volunteering in the city, and I always say people have time, talent, or treasure. It's very common. It's not like I created that. But some people have time to volunteer, and some people have a talent that they can help use to volunteer, and then some people really don't have the time, but they're willing to donate.
Right on.
And so I think, trying to find out where that money would do its best. And
I love that. So you take half of it to help maybe your future, et cetera, invest it or whatever. And half of it you would basically use to enrich someone else's life. I like that.
Well, like, right now I'm a board member of the Celina Education Foundation, and the work they do is amazing. I mean, to help the teachers out, they have projects that, if teachers have a great idea, they'll help fund it. They give a lot of scholarships out to the Celina ISD students,
Right.
And, you think about how much that could affect their lives.
Absolutely. It's life-changing.
Really working on trying to grow that. And, education is one of the most important things, tied back to the city.
Very, very good. So I'm going to have some fun with a few questions, and I'm just going to tell everybody you're not a big fan of me asking you silly and goofy stuff, and I get that. I may reserve that for interview number 2 down the road. Okay, so all bets are off on that one. But if you could only eat one meal for the rest of your life.
Oh, that's easy. I mean, I get made fun of all the time. I mean, my go-to is peanut butter and jelly toast.
Man,
and if I can throw a glass of like half milk in there too, then that is my go-to. I can make it in a minute. Has a little bit of protein, keeps me full. That's my go-to.
I believe it or not, I had guessed before I asked the question. I was like, I bet peanut butter and jelly. I didn't get the toast part, but yes.
What's terrible is my daughters are allergic to peanuts.
Ugh.
And so I have to make it when they're not around.
Right.
Because they don't even like to see it out.
Right.
And so so like when they're at school, I'm like, hey, they're not back yet. I can make some peanut butter toast.
Oh man, that's awesome. I love it. So you get your secret stash of peanut butter somewhere. What's a common myth about your job as a city manager?
Yeah, I get, I have coffee with our employees, to try to touch base. And one of my questions is, do you have any questions about, city manager? And really, they really just ask, well, what do you do all day? What's your average day like? My typical day is I probably have 6 to 8 meetings a day with different people, and then emails and phone calls, and really trying to set the operations the way council wants. Follow their strategic plan. And so I think sometimes people think that city managers just sit around all day and wait for problems to happen, but I really try to be proactive to prevent problems from happening.
Right.
And I talk about it all the time, that I don't really want the city to be, led as like a fire drill. So every time there's something, happens that, stop everything, let's put out the fire. And, we need to put those fires out. But I think if you're proactive, you can engage and put them out without sounding all the alarms, I guess.
Absolutely. And so what's one of the most necessary personality traits or characteristics that a person needs to have in order to do your job?
I think a lot of patience.
Okay.
You have to.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I say it all the time. We really preach servant leadership. A lot, and it's a common term, but it's not just for good customer service, but it's also making sure our employees are taken care of. So I think the biggest leadership trait that I talk about to people is to not make assumptions. Because I think often you go into an issue with assumptions, and often if you really take the time to ask questions, you find out those assumptions are wrong. And so if you can go in with a clear head and with a set of questions and not a set of assumptions, it really helps aid in the communication.
Absolutely. And do you have like a, I guess something that you use in your job every day that just, without it, you'd be in trouble? Like, for example, he's pointing to his phone. Okay, let me give a little bit of hindsight, a little behind the scenes here. Before we started, he said, "Let me get on my phone and make sure that everything is okay in the world. Basically, make sure there's no fires, make sure that everything's peaceful, that everything's good." And I'm very grateful that you were able to carve out some time. It's up another question, and I just kind of ran with that. But if you had to give up the internet for the rest of your life, or give up air conditioning and heating.
Where do I live on the air conditioning and heating?
You live right where you live right now, so pick it. You give up internet, or you give up AC and heating for the rest of your life.
I would give up internet. I mean, honestly, I've lived without internet.
Right.
I'm not sure I want to live in Texas without air conditioning.
And today's a prime example of you don't want to live without heat either, right?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time I'm more worried about air conditioning, but yeah, heat's important too, especially if it gets freezing.
Absolutely, man. Isn't that true? So I want to pop back to Star Wars real quick. If you had to be one of the characters in Star Wars, who would you be?
Oh, it's always Luke. I mean, who doesn't want to be the hero of the story?
Absolutely. And if you weren't a city manager, if you could do a totally different profession, maybe even something that you've never really officially trained for, had education in, or something like that. I'm just talking like far out there dream of anything different to do, even if it doesn't make sense. What other profession or job or occupation would you love to have?
I've always liked the restaurant business. Mm-hmm. I worked it in college, as a waiter, a bartender, and a manager to help pay through college. And I just really like helping people. So, it's neat when people come into your restaurant and you give them great service and they leave very happy and satisfied. And I think that's a really good feeling. And
would you be a restaurant owner, or what would you do specifically?
Well, in a perfect world, I'd like to be the owner. Who doesn't want to be the owner? That's the American dream, right? It's the whole point of us, trying to help entrepreneurs and small business owners so they, that they, have a stake in the community.
Right. So okay, some really quick fun questions, and then I promise I'll get you out of here. So we're going to do some would you rathers like that. Would you rather be forced to sing along or dance along to every song you hear for the rest of your life?
Sing along.
You'd rather sing, even though you said earlier that the singing's about you'd rather do that than the dance.
I think you could still do things while you sing. I mean, it'd be hard to be always dancing. I mean, could you imagine you're trying to eat something while the song's on and you're dancing?
Oh my goodness. If you had to pop into the future, would you rather pop into the future 5 years from now or 10 years from now?
10 years.
Tell me why.
I think the further you go in the future, the more interesting it might be to see the changes and what's going on, and it'd be neat to see what Celina looks like in 10 years. And,
wow. Yes.
And hopefully some of our goals and objectives have been achieved. And
you know what? And I was just thinking about that. Some of the things that you have personally been a part of setting in motion and getting these things going in 10 years, you could literally see that. So one of the things, I was involved with the alternative subdivision ordinance down in Frisco, which it requires a certain amount of green space and different lot sizes and things like that in a subdivision, right? And it was huge controversy back then. It was a big, big deal. It's nice right now to look back and see how that worked out.
I think, one of the purposes in life is you want to leave some kind of legacy, even if it's a small little legacy of something that you helped create. And I think that, drives me, it drives a lot of our team. And so, as we make changes, we're trying to improve. And so, like I said, you see people use a park, use a playground, visit on the square, see a new restaurant. It takes a whole team, it takes a lot of people. But you play a small little part in it, and that just is very satisfying.
Absolutely. And we all leave a legacy, be it good, bad, or in the middle somewhere. So it's critical right now, especially in where we're at in Celina, Texas, to try real hard to leave a good legacy, because it is going to matter. Everything that we do right now matters. And so we have to be very thoughtful and careful in what we do right now. So again, to your credit, I appreciate so much of what you and the staff have done so far. As many people know, I have invested greatly in this city, and I appreciate that very much. You've given me the confidence in order to feel comfortable investing here, and I love the future that you guys have helped build for this. I've got 2 more questions for you.
Okay.
I've got 2 more questions. Would you rather be chronically overdressed or underdressed?
Overdressed.
Okay. And then the last question, you probably already know what I'm going to ask you, is because we've joked about it before. But would you rather fight? I wish you could see your face right now. Would you rather fight 1 horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses.
I was listening to your last podcast this weekend just to prepare, and I thought about that question because you ask it a lot, and I was like, I'm definitely the 100 duck size horses. I mean, I might be afraid of a horse sized duck.
You've got horses, horses running around, and you've got to fight them. So what do? Punt them like footballs? What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, just 100 times, and
because they're attacking you.
But maybe they're nice horses. Is there some food around that you can feed them?
You're such a city manager. Look at you looking for solutions here. I like it. Jason, thank you so very much for being on the show. I look forward to doing this with you again in the future. I love where you're taking the city. Many, many of us do. We respect you. We appreciate you. And I appreciate you coming on CelinaRadio.com. So thank you very much for that.
No, I appreciate the invite. Thank you.
And guys, that is Jason Laumer. So guys, what did you think about Jason Laumer? I'll tell you what, I had a unique vantage point in doing this interview with him because I got to see behind the scenes. I got to watch him work a little bit. I got to learn more about his philosophies, what motivates him. And it's all really good stuff. This is a very humble and very, very smart man. And I feel like we're very, very lucky and very blessed to have him sitting in the position he's in right now. And I attribute so much of not only where we're at right now as the city of Celina, but also where we are headed to the hard work and determination of Jason Laumer. Now, guys, we've got some other fantastic guests coming up in the show that you're not going to want to miss. We've got a lot of great events coming up in the city, and as usual, we'll be out there doing video, posting things to the social media and on our YouTube page, things like that. We're certainly going to be doing live remotes from some of the events, and we're just going to always try and bring you the very best of Celina, Texas. So guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I absolutely look forward to connecting with you again on the next episode. But until then, stay safe and God bless. By the way, we've got a very unique change in format coming on the next episode. You're not going to want to miss it. I mean, definitely not going to want to miss it.